Coming up on show 690, let's talk about the Lucid Air, 900-volt system and 400 miles of range. But when's it out? Stick around, we'll tell you more. Plus, we're talking about the Model Y getting its official range rating. It was only really a box-ticking exercise. Otherwise, a new price for the Ampere E in Europe, a new hybrid Hyundai, and new aerodynamic wheels for the new BMW. Those stories and more coming up on the podcast today. Show 690. Wowzers, 10 shows away from 700 of these being made for you every single day. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to EV News Daily. My name is Martyn Lee, your edition for Friday, 7th of Feb, end of the week. And I go through every EV story, so you don't have to. Well, thank you as always to MyEV for helping support the show. Have done for almost a couple of years now, and this weekend, tomorrow, in fact, if you're listening to this podcast when it's first out, it is EVs and Tea. It's a big gathering in Miami, base camp in Miami. Over 600 EVs are so far confirmed, probably more, because it was the beginning of the week that I asked, and so lots of people have RSVP'd. You've still got time. Some big YouTube speakers going along to talk there. Only a couple of hours on Saturday afternoon. Have fun if you're going. Let me know if you are going along. Send me pictures if you're there. So, the Tesla Model Y has now officially received its official range and efficiency rating from the Environmental Protection Authority, confirming not 500 miles, 315 miles. I guess I was thinking of the kilometres. 507 kilometres. Yeah, that'll be it. I'll try and get out of that one. 315 miles, 507 k's driving range, and the most efficient crossover SUV available in the US. According to the website thedriven.io, the Elon Musk statement that he said on the fourth quarter earnings call in January about the Model Y's range being increased has now become official. He also said amazing things about Tesla's engineering team and really praised the hardcore engineering at Tesla for making it the most efficient SUV in terms of energy use. Well, these new figures, which it should be noted have only been released so far for the more power-hungry performance version of the Model Y, have been published on the US EPA's fuel economy website as Tesla prepares to begin deliveries of Model Y by the end of March. So, what's the date today? 7th of Feb. If you are a Model Y reservation holder, or an order placer, I should say, not just a reservation holder, if you've placed your order, there's every chance in the next 5 weeks you could be driving around in your Model Y. Wow. You didn't have to wait too long for that, did you? I mean, we knew the Model Y was coming, but less than a year between reveal and it sitting on your driveway? That's pretty impressive. Eric at InsideEVs picks up on something that I've talked about before, and that's how the size of wheels makes a really big impact on EV range. Currently, the EPA doesn't list which wheel size it posted results for in regards to the Model Y, but, you know, if you're making an educated guess, it would be the smaller 19-inch choice. The performance variant does list the 21-inch wheels as standard, but when you go through the build process, it only shows 19-inch wheels due to how the 315-mile figure compares to various wheel options found on the Model 3 performance. Well, let's look at what the Model Y came out at in the EPA test. The city test came out at 334. The highway test came out at 291, and combined 315. Well, sort of. I mean, there's a tiny caveat to that. The EPA says the range was 316. Tesla voluntarily lowered it to 315. Don't know why they would do that. I mean, it's a nice round number, isn't it? 315. Or maybe just Elon said it on the call because he'd been told 315, and actually, if he'd have said 316, they'd have taken that as the official number? I don't know, but hey, look, it's a mile. The practice seems quite common on most Tesla vehicles to either round down to an even number or round down to something which fits their lineup. As in, it fits neatly in terms of what you pay for the car, and they don't want to sell someone a Model 3 when they could sell them a Model S, if you get my drift. So, moving on, and let's talk about the lead story today, and that is the Lucid Air. A handful of details about the production spec Lucid Air have surfaced prior to the car's premiere at the New York Auto Show. Now, that's going to be in April, and the company's also releasing a teaser of the car, says CarScoop's website. In this video teaser, we can see some of the production model's details while learning that the launch model is going to be called the Dream Edition. That's pretty cool, the Dream Edition Lucid Air. Electrek also sat down recently with the Lucid Air, or the Lucid chief executive and CTO, Peter Rawlinson, to talk about the Air. Now, for those that don't know, Peter Rawlinson was the chief engineer of the Tesla Model S program back in the day, from 2009 to 2012, and he's fully aware of what it takes to create an all-electric vehicle. So he hasn't been at Tesla in recent years, but he certainly knows what he's talking about. The first thing revealed by Rawlinson about the Lucid Air is that it will have a battery system over 900 volts. Now, if you're new to the podcast, or just to recap, most EVs are around 400. The Porsche Taycan and a new generation of EVs using an 800 volt system as well. It means you can charge faster, amongst other things. However, Lucid Air, a 900 volt system. Okay, right, I don't know if this is going to be a rush for how many volts we can operate our EVs at. The 400 volt system that most EVs use is what limits, in terms of the current that you can get into the car, the amperage of how quickly you can charge the car. And so a 900 volt system is definitely going to come with some challenges and maybe some unique characteristics. And if it was easy or the best thing to do, then everybody would be doing it. But that's what Lucid have gone for. The executive added that the Lucid Air will be capable of travelling over 400 miles, that's 643 kilometres on a single charge, based on the EPA cycle estimation. Now, production of the Air is being handled in Casa Grande in Arizona, and the first models will roll out of the factory in the final quarter of this year. So this isn't vaporware, as we sometimes talk about, just companies giving very good press release statements and throwing out numbers and saying, 400 miles and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we'll make it in 5 years' time. They say production starts in Q4. Good luck to everyone at Lucid making the Lucid Air. One of the main factors behind Tesla's success lies in the company's willingness to maybe think out the side of the box. We saw this with the digital dash introduced on the Model S originally, and more recently with the Model 3. And you must admit, when you first saw the Model 3 interior, what did you think? With no dash display behind the wheel, just a single screen? Because it sort of messed with my mind the first time I saw it. I didn't not like it, it just kind of messed with my mind a little bit. Now, it's just completely normal. The company isn't afraid to reimagine well-established design principles as it prepares to release new models in coming years. According to the website bgr.com, keep an eye on Tesla's patent applications, because it can provide us with a sneak preview of features coming in upcoming Tesla vehicles. This particular patent in question, which details a new steering wheel. Now, the steering wheel has two touchscreen interfaces integrated into the steering wheel on either side. The user interface of the steering wheel may additionally include indicators provided at a lower portion of the steering wheel, indicative of a selected gear engagement of the vehicle. For example, the user interface may provide an illuminated indication of what gear you're in. So there'll be a little screen, a touch screen on the steering wheel, and it'll either say park, reverse, neutral, or drive. Additionally, the steering wheel may have some RFID detection, some NFC activation, all in this patent. And this starts to make sense when you join the dots. Remember the Cybertruck launch? It wasn't that long ago. But did you then, if you're a hardcore enough EV fan, also watch all the YouTube videos afterwards of people that got a ride in it? Lots of people, when they got inside the Cybertruck, thought it wasn't finished because there's no stalks, there's no indicators, no indicator stalks to show that you're changing lanes, and no gear selector stalk. It was literally just the steering wheel. Now, I think on the Cybertruck, if I rack my brains, the gear selector was done on the screen, or it was done in some way that didn't use the steering wheel. But when a couple of the YouTubers picked up on this, and I remember seeing a couple of the videos where they asked the test driver, there's no indicator stalk, there's no gear selector stalk. What's that all about? They weren't cagey, but they sort of, they were chilled. They were like, yeah, no, we've got some solutions. Like, it's fine. And then they sort of just pulled out and got on with the Cybertruck test drive. Well, now this all makes sense. A new patent from Tesla that integrates where your thumbs would rest on the steering wheel, a control for the indicators, a control for the gears, that's further down the bottom though, with two touchscreens, rethinking about what you actually need to put inside the car. And I'm sure if they do go ahead with this, by the way, it will indeed mess with people's minds, and then very quickly it will just become normal. I mean, it could all end up nothing. I could be doing 2 and 2 equals 5 here, but let's wait and see. Well, shortly before the market launch of the Corsa E, that's the electric little city car, Opel/Vauxhall has significantly reduced prices for their current all-electric car, which is as rare as hen's teeth anyway in Europe. The Ampera E in the Netherlands, otherwise known as the Bolt. We don't get that here. It's a long story. The business version is now available from €34,000. That's a steep discount. It was almost €45,000. If you fancy a Ampera E in Europe, and you've got to get €34,000 out of your pocket. And, that's a good deal. Says Electrive, it's to propel the sale of the remaining existing cars that they have in stock. Opel Netherlands itself makes note of limited stock since the sale of Opel to PSA Group. That's the company that makes Peugeot and Citroën. That was back in 2017. Things became very quiet around the Ampera E. Well, it's the sister model of the Chevy Bolt, based on the same technology from General Motors, which also builds it for Opel in the USA. Since Chevrolet was able to sell the Bolt very well in the US, there was constant speculation about how many units of the Ampera E the US company would make for Opel. In 2019, as a whole, 120 of them were registered in Germany. On the German Opel website, the Ampera E is still for sale, but listed as stock only. If you didn't mind getting a car that is very quickly not going to be on sale, the Ampera E, is a very, very good EV. For €34,000 for a brand new Bolt, it's not bad. Well, the Sonata Hybrid is a new hybrid that's coming with a bit of a twist. It's got a 2-litre 4-cylinder engine, 150 horsepower, a 6-speed automatic transmission from Hyundai's active shift control technology. But what's different about this is having a small hybrid motor. It's not a plug-in, it is a soft hybrid, but they've gone the route of putting a solar panel on the roof. Hyundai says the solar panels directly charge both the 12-volt and the hybrid batteries, but I don't know how big the hybrid batteries are. I mean, it's not a plug-in, so they're going to be pretty small, aren't they? You won't go very far on electric power alone. With electrical output of the solar panels in a perfect situation of 205 watts. Assuming your car gets enough sun every day, Hyundai says that you'll do 800 miles of driving every single year. Divide by 365, that's 2.19 miles of driving, and actually that's perfect conditions. That is if your car is parked in the blazing sunshine. I think the asterisk says 6 hours a day. So, if you buy the Sonata Hybrid in this country, you won't be getting blazing sunshine for 6 hours a day. You might get it in July or August. So it's a bit of a gimmick, but you know what? If it keeps your 12-volt battery topped up whilst you are parked on holiday and you leave it at the airport for a week or two, that's no bad thing. But you won't be getting too many free miles from this self-charging hybrid. No, it's not self-charging! There's no such thing as a self-charging hybrid. Damn, I've proved myself wrong. Let's talk next about BMW and the wheels on the new BMW SUV, the iX3, the electric version of the X3, which you'll have seen. New wheels and their aerodynamic flow influence the overall vehicle efficiency by up to 30%. Now, they're further developing technology at BMW with new aerodynamic wheels for their EVs on the iX3, which is coming out later this year. A new combination of an aluminium base and then inserts that are individually designed, so you can almost kind of create your own pattern whilst reducing drag by 5% compared to the normal wheels on the X3. They're also lighter by 15%. Benefits in terms of aerodynamics and weight have the overall effect of lowering the power consumption, so the iX3 actually gets another 2% range just by changing the wheels. And the appearance can be varied in different ways. They've got the basic wheel that they're creating, but then the inserts go into it for numerous different patterns to suit your desire. They're going to be on the BMW iNext and the BMW i4. They're coming out in 2021, but this year we get the iX3 with these new lightweight aero wheels. And finally, a quick mention for the Nissan Leaf. Kristen at Jalopnik says that I'm firm on my belief that fully autonomous driving is decades away, but folk at Nissan are hard at work, and Nissan Leaf just finished an autonomous journey in Britain. A modified Leaf went 230 miles from Nissan's European Technical Centre in the south of England to its birthplace, the Sunderland factory where the Leafs are made. 230 miles on pure autonomous driving. 8 laser scanners, 7 cameras, 1 radar, and 6 electric control units in the trunk. And they drove alongside regular motorists. The roads weren't closed, and it was obviously all done safely with people in the front seats. And with it being a Leaf doing 230 miles, I imagine a couple of pit stops to charge up. However, a big autonomous trip done to show that the Nissan engineers are indeed working on some stuff. Question of the week this week with MyEV. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much does or did the environment come into play when you bought your EV? For me, maybe like a 3 or a 4. Like, it came later. It wasn't the driver for me buying my EV. But tell me yours. Email me hello@evnewsdaily.com. Leave a comment on YouTube. There are 231 patrons of the show, and if you want to check out Patreon, patreon.com/evnewsdaily. For the price of a posh coffee once or twice a month, you get to make this show happen. Thank you to my premium partners, Phil Roberts of Electric Future, Brad Crosby and Avid Technology. There are 689 shows in the archive, and if you can share this with someone who you think would like to hear this podcast, I'd love you to ping it on to them. Come and say hi on the socials by searching EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day. Catch you tomorrow, and remember, there's no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.